What's up, NBA fans? Dom2K on the mic, and today we're doing my 12,725 subscriber Q&A. Now, it was supposed to be 10,000, but as I described in my last video, 10,000 came so fast, and the day I was planning to do my 10K Q&A, I just passed it. Like, it just blew out the water out of nowhere. So, I had to do that KG video. Then I kind of had to, I was like, whatever, I'm going to do a Q&A for, since I'm in the tens of thousands now. I'm going to do a Q&A wherever I am when I actually sit down and record that video, and that's where I'm at. I'm at 12,725. I have to thank y'all so much for the support before I start this Q&A. The support has been tremendous on this channel. I would think that there's only about 1,000 of you that know I was a YouTuber before this. So like, I didn't just pop up in July. I was a YouTuber since like 2013, and it's almost 2017 now. I'm going to get into that because that was one of the questions. I do tend to rant, so I want to go ahead and get into the Q&A now so this video doesn't take 30 minutes, because when you ask me questions, I could go on forever. So I'm just going to try to get into it now and not talk too much. I would seriously love to talk all day about these questions, but I know most of y'all probably won't stick around, and so we're going to go ahead and go to the first one, which came from I Am The Don, and he asked on Twitter, for your question and answer, why the RNC music on the background, and who in your opinion has the best handles, AI, Kyrie, or J Will? Now, first of all, for those of you who sadly don't know what RNC is what you guys have been listening to in every single video I've posted. That's called Ratchet & Clank. If you didn't play that game, I'm sorry for your childhood, because it was one of the best games ever. Ratchet & Clank Up Your Arsenal. My friend gave me that game, or he let me borrow it, which I still have it. He probably, I don't know if he wants it back or not. It's been like 10 years, but he gave it to me when we were in like the 6th grade, and I beat that game like 1,000 times. So that game is forever embedded in my memory and my brain. And as I'm doing these videos, I need some background music that won't get copyrighted. I'm like, why not a video game soundtrack that I love? So the Ratchet & Clank music is pretty much a reference to my childhood, I guess. And when I get tired of Ratchet & Clank music, I'm going to trade it out for one of my other games, and I'm just gonna keep people guessing, honestly. Like, eventually, I'm not gonna change it anytime soon because it's working and people like it. But when people when more and more people catch on, well, now I told y'all it's Ratchet & Clank, so y'all know now, but only a few people really noticed what it was. And yeah, now you know officially what it is, so that will change one day. Who knows? Maybe I'll just keep it. See, I'm ranting. Second part, who in your opinion has the best handles, Iverson, Kyrie, or J Will? I'm not gonna lie, I did not grow up. I mean, I did grow up with... It's hard to say. I'm going to get into that in the next question about how I started basketball. Let's put it this way. I'm not old enough to have remembered Iverson and Jason Williams that well. I watched them play, but I was so young when they played that I honestly don't remember too much about them. I know they had handles out the ass, and I know Jason Williams really was a good passer. I would honestly have to go Kyrie, though, because just I've watched him the most. Maybe Iverson is there with him, but man, Kyrie has done things with the basketball you really can't describe. Like, so many of the plays are coming to my head, like when he crossed Curry up a couple of times. I've seen him cross up, there was a guy, Patrick Beverly. He's done so much with the basketball, so quick, so agile, and he just does not lose his handle. That guy is amazing with the ball, so I would have to go Kyrie. But that's honestly, handles, that's probably a good topic for a video, so I'm going to move on. I'm just going to say Kyrie for that question. Number 2 came from Johnny Rose, and he asked, who or what got you into basketball as a whole? That's such a long story, honestly. That could be its own video. I'm going to try to give you the condensed version. Condensed version is, I was in the 3rd grade. There was a kid named Jordan in my class. Ironically, his name was Jordan. And don't think it's weird that I remember these type of things, because I have photographic memory. So like, I can remember things from like the 1st grade, faces, places, names, time. Like, I just remember everything. It's painful, honestly, to remember as much as I do. Anyways, yeah, 3rd grade. This kid, I guess his parents were just banking, because he had everything, like as far as basketball gear. Like, y'all know how much jerseys cost as NBA fans, and this dude had LeBron, Tim Duncan, and then the one that got me, because I'm from Orlando, is he had the Tracy McGrady Magic jersey. But along with the Magic jersey, there was these shoes that T-Mac used to wear during the All-Star game. A lot of you probably haven't seen because you're probably too young. There were these patent leather shoes that he wore that I was in love with. I was in love with Tracy McGrady shoes. I became a huge T-Mac fan, and I went to work with my dad so I could afford those shoes, because honestly, like, my parents, they wouldn't just gonna buy me shit like that. So, I had to go work for it, and I did. I enjoyed that. Worked with my dad, bought those shoes. I started buying jerseys, and I slowly got into it. The best answer I can give you, so I don't take up all video talking about how I got into basketball, is it was such a process, because once I got those shoes and that jerseys, I started turning on Magic games, because I live in Orlando, so we had them for free on Sun Sports. And I started watching the Magic play. I didn't understand the concept that just because we had T-Mac that didn't mean we were actually going to be any good. So, you know, I spent a lot of nights frustrated, really pissed off about us losing, but I was watching those games. I went to a Magic game when he actually left, when he came back. T-Mac came back as a member of the Rockets. I still remember going to that game. That was a lot of fun. And I would have to skip some years to tell you that was in 2003. Basically, I really became a basketball fan, like really, I became a basketball fan in like 2008, because before then I would just pop in and out. Like I would pop in for the finals, pop in for some playoff games, you know, I'd be here and there. But when the Celtics got together, you know, I think that's a story I'm gonna just put it this way. When the Celtics got together, I became a religious NBA fan, and I've been there ever since then. So that's a super short, condensed version of how I became a basketball fan. There's, you know, a lot of details that I'm gonna spare you. Just know that it basically started with jerseys, shoes, and Tracy McGrady. Became a huge T-Mac fan, a huge Magic fan. And yeah, I'll connect the dots on that in a later question. Actually, I'll connect the dots on that right now, because that's the question I have here. It's the third one. It's from Stefan Kotanik. I think that's what it says. Sorry if I mispronounced it. It says, what is your favorite NBA team and player? Obviously, I'm a Celtics fan. I don't hide that. And since he didn't really ask how, but since I'm connecting the dots on that, I became a Celtics fan because I knew how good Ray Allen and Paul Pierce were, because I would always play NBA Live as a kid, so I knew who the superstars were, and I kept up with the NBA minimal before that. When the Celtics joined them that summer, and I saw on NBA TV that they joined them, I went and immediately told my dad. I was like, yo, the Celtics just joined 3 of the biggest players in the game. They're gonna win easy next year or whatever. And my dad back then, you know, he was a Spurs fan, and then, yeah, you know, I'm not gonna get into how he became a LeBron, Cavs fan. You know, that whole thing is screwy, whatever. We're just gonna stick with the fact that I told him the Celtics were gonna win. I was like, it's over. He was like, nah, it's on the Spurs. I'm gonna make a bet. And he made some gigantic bet, like some gigantic monetary bet. I don't even remember how much it was, but he was like, yeah, I put this on the line on the Spurs. I was like, all right, cool. I put something on the line for the Celtics, and, you know, story over. I was a Celtics fan ever since then. You can't call me a bandwagon, because I'm still a Celtics fan, and we didn't suck last year. We actually had a relatively quick turnaround period after we lost the Big Three. We only sucked for like a year. Anyways, I didn't jump off the bandwagon once the Big Three left. I've been riding for Boston for almost a decade now, so no bandwagon here. I didn't leave with the Big Three. Some people did, I didn't. And the second question is, who's your favorite player? I'm not really a player fan, to be honest with you. If I had to give you a favorite player, it was Derrick Rose. It still kind of is Derrick Rose. I always hope to see him do the things that he did, but I'm not a player fan. That's just not a concept that I really subscribe to. So if I had to pick somebody, it was Rose. But obviously these last few years have been so spotty, because Rose is never on the floor. Then when he isn't what he used to be. So I would tell you Derrick Rose is just to answer the question. But the true answer is I'm not really a fan of just one player right now. I believe we're on number 4. And honestly, it's probably not even going to reach 10, because some of the questions will repeat. So I don't even think I'm going to get to 10. I might get to like 6 or 7. So this next question says, what is your favorite NBA moment? I had to sit back and think about this, because there are a lot of moments that I really love in the NBA. And I really had to think about that one. I would honestly have to say my favorite NBA moment would have to be when we eliminated the Cavaliers in 2010, because that was just such an amazing time to be a Celtics fan. I was really religious about the Celtics back then. Like in 2010, reason I was is because that year we signed Rasheed Wallace. Who else did we sign that year? I think we signed Marquise Daniels that year, Nate Robinson. And we were trying to retool because Kevin Garnett had a knee injury he was coming back from, and we got old so quick. Like the Celtics were supposed to win so many championships, but Kevin Garnett's knee went out, and that just like put a dent in all of the plans that were supposed to happen. So that year we came back and we were 4th in the Eastern Conference, and everybody wrote us off. I'll probably never be able to find this clip, but I'll never forget, you know, waking up one morning and hearing Charles Barkley on NBA TV say that, or NBA on TNT, it was from the night before, he was saying how the Celtics couldn't beat Cleveland or Orlando. And it was crazy. I was the only one telling everybody that year, like, yo, the playoffs are different than the regular season, so we might be struggling in the regular season. It seems like we're struggling against certain teams. We're not winning the games we should be. We're playing average. But I was like, come playoff time, I was one of the first people to tell everyone how alone LeBron was. It was funny because back then, if you're too young to remember, the Cavaliers were always like in the running for first place, and they were always on everybody's list to win the championship. And I remember my dad was a Cavaliers fan, and I actually printed a sign out and put it on my door saying that, yo, like this, because we had like a mini rivalry going on. I had a sign that was said like the Cavaliers aren't deep enough for us this year. They're not gonna beat us. I was the only one saying that. But back then, everybody was so enthralled with like Shaquille O'Neal and Antoine Jameson. I remember Steve Smith specifically on NBA TV talking about how the Cavs were so deep they had players that they weren't going to use, and I was like, dawg, y'all got this wrong. In the playoffs, I was like, it's going to fall apart. It's going to be just LeBron. And I was right. We got on that ass in the playoffs. I think we beat them in 6 games. It was an upset. People were calling LeBron a quitter and shit, and back then I didn't like LeBron, so that was just such a great moment. Everything, when we upset them, I remember Rondo threw that like behind the back pass to Tony Allen, and it was just a great time. That was a great time to be a Celtics fan. Unfortunately, we came 1 game short of being a 4th seed that won an NBA championship that year. That still hurts. That Game 7 loss in LA still hurt. But I think that me and Kenny Smith were probably the only 2 people that believed in the Celtics in the playoffs that year, and we made it as far as I said we would. So that was probably my favorite moment in NBA history. Alright, we're at 11 minutes now, so this is going to be my second to last question, because to be honest, like I said, there just weren't that many different varying questions this year. For this Q&A. So yeah, we're almost done here. What's your full opinion, Cody? I don't know how to pronounce that last name because I'm just kind of like trying to speed right now. Cody asked, what is your full opinion on LeBron chasing Jordan? Is he the new Jordan? Yeah, that's actually pretty interesting because LeBron did, it seems like LeBron has been talking a lot more these days about Jordan, and he makes a lot more comments about Jordan than he used to. LeBron's usually the guy, you ask him a question about that, and he's like, we'll see where I'm at the end of my career. And, players are normally just kind of passive, but he's mentioned Jordan a lot this year. Now he's chasing the ghost in Chicago. And my opinion is that LeBron James is really lucky to be where he's at, because he almost lost this year's finals, and that would have probably ended all Jordan comparisons, I believe, just like in the public eye. But the fact that he won this championship against the 73-win Warriors and finals MVP, now he has 3 finals MVPs, 3 championships. The fact that he's there, correct me if I'm wrong, I think with awards, he's right where Jordan was at this age. So as weird as it is, LeBron has lost all these finals, and people were writing him off saying that he's never gonna, win enough to be like Jordan. But here he is somehow with enough time to catch Jordan's 6 championships. Now with the Warriors around in the NBA, who knows if that's gonna happen? But the fact that he is even there, that's crazy, because it was so close not to happening. That's what my LeBron legacy video was based off of. If you go back and watch the video that made my channel what it is today, basically the LeBron saving his legacy, that's exactly what it was about. That the fact that he's here is just mind-boggling. But you asked what my opinion on him chasing Jordan was. I don't think it's a bad thing. My specific opinion on him chasing Jordan is, why would you not want to be the best at what you do? And that's all he's trying to do, because it's greatly renowned that Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time. He's there now. He has the 3 championships and 3 finals MVPs, and he still's got about probably 6 years left in his career. Why not go for it? Why not try to match or beat his accolades? And people get mad at him for that, because people really hate the fact that something better could come along. And what I mean by that is seems like there's a certain demographic out there of people who, no matter what anyone does, no matter what any player does, they're always going to say Michael Jordan's the greatest of all time. And I'm not saying that he's not, because I think he is the greatest of all time right now. But I think that it kind of sucks that no matter what a player does, it's going to get undercut somehow. Like, people's favorite thing these days is to say that no matter what a player does, they basically tell you, well, this era sucks, so that negates everything. Like that, if it comes down to it and there's just nothing else they can say, they tell you that this era is trash, so that if LeBron wins, it doesn't matter because the era is trash. I don't agree with that. I'm going to talk about that in future videos. That's nothing to talk about right now, but my opinion on him is that it's not a bad thing. It's a great thing that he wants to be the greatest of all time. Any player that's like Kobe or LeBron or Magic, any of y'all that are in that top like 1% of players, you should want to be the greatest, because why not? And I think LeBron definitely has the tools to do it, and I think that's something people don't want to hear, but LeBron has definitely got the tools to do it. When you look at his stats, he's got already crazy stats. If you look at his all-time stats, the awards, to go with the stats, to go with his physical attributes, if he can really pull something off by beating this Warriors team, he can make a case for himself for being the greatest of all time when it's all said and done. So For your second part of the question, you ask, is he the new Jordan? No, not yet. Nah, not yet. See, I'm unbiased. I'm not gonna say that he can never be better than Jordan, but right now Jordan is still there at the top. He's not the Jordan yet. He's got work to do. He knows he's got work to do. So, but I will say that, you know, something that people don't want to hear, there is a chance. There definitely is a chance. So for the last question, I'm gonna try not to rant about it, because it is the answer that I owe to my fans, to that followed me to this channel, because like I said, I was a YouTube channel before, and when I posted my first video on this channel, I told them to just trust me, that I knew what I was doing and I wanted to make some different videos, and I told them just to allow me to create content that I enjoyed for a while, and they let me do that, and lo and behold, look at this. I'm far past where I was on my old channel. I was right. I had a hunch and I was right about it, and they let me shine. Really, the people who did come over from that old channel, they didn't give me any shit about the fact that I disappeared on them for half a year and didn't say anything about where I was. They didn't question it. They just said glad to have you back, and they welcomed me back with open arms, and I'm super grateful for that. And so I owe them the answer to this question. A Wade fan asked, what made you leave your other channel with the Three Kings in New York? And he's thrilled I made a second channel. I am thrilled too, because I actually enjoy this one. So look, I'm gonna just try to answer his question without giving an entire backstory to my old channel, because that could go on forever. That could literally be its own video that probably the few subscribers who followed me here would care about. I'm gonna answer, first of all, I want to give you a little bit of background, at least so you know who he's talking about. I am formerly Mr. NBA 2K Highlights. I have no clue how many of you might have ran across me before, or you just maybe found me in July, but Mr. NBA 2K Highlights is my old channel, and I started that one in November of 2013. Skipping over some details, I started a series called The Three Kings of New York, which is basically the original What If scenario. You know, you guys think What If scenarios just started. Nah, no, they really didn't, actually. The Three Kings of New York was a one giant What If scenario, and they were episodic content, so like it lasted like 50 videos, and it was basically it's basically what If scenarios are now, dumping a bunch of legends together, a bunch of different players together. That one specifically was about legends and current players, and they were actually, the series had a storyline to it, so it was almost kind of like I don't want to call it a cartoon, it was like a TV show. There you go. It's like a web series, so it was specifically a web series. And yeah, you know, you can go check it out yourself if you want to. I'm ashamed of most of it. I'm ashamed of everything after the Three Kings of New York season 1. I'm totally ashamed of. I hate it all, to be honest with you. Besides, I started another series after that called Golden, which would have been pretty cool if I had kept going with it. So let's go ahead and get to the question, because like I said, I'll end up giving you guys the whole backstory. What made me leave my channel? There was not just one thing that made me leave my channel. That's the first question, and it had nothing to do with you guys as subscribers. It really had nothing to do. That was a lot of things going on for me. I left that channel in January of this year, and I was getting way less consistent in posting, but it was a combination of so many things that made me leave that channel. First of all, let's go ahead and get to the obvious one. It was time. I'm a college student. Right now, I'm recording in a classroom, actually, because my school, they leave buildings open for you to do whatever you want. Basically, as long as there's cameras, so they trust you not to do shit. But yeah, I'm in college, and time. The thing that people don't know about a series like The Three Kings of New York, and I think a lot of what my subscribers didn't get, is those are actually borderline productions. Where I was going with them, you need a damn near team to do those type of videos correctly, to actually have them come out right. You know, I was spending so many hours playing the 12-minute quarters, then editing the video together with commentary, then I had to write the story for it and voice the story and edit the scenes together. The production time on those was so incredibly long. For one, I just could not afford to do them while I was in college. Summers were okay. During summers where I didn't have class all day, I didn't have to worry about that. But when you're in college and everything that comes with college, not just the schoolwork, there is no way a series like that could get the attention it deserved. And I did not want to continue with the series. Like, even though Golden was going really nicely, that's the series that I started after the Three Kings of New York, that was actually going pretty smoothly, but I just did not have the time to invest in that. But it wasn't just that. There was a couple of other things. There was mainly the fact that I just did not like that channel concept anymore. And the reason that I left it, instead of just posting on Mr. NBA 2K Highlights, I left that channel was because I wanted a new concept. I wanted a new channel concept, and I knew the only way that I could successfully pull that off would be to move, because I would look at the responses. If you look at the end of that channel's lifetime, where I was posting mixes and I think a couple of commentaries and a couple of just obscure things, they weren't really getting any kind of response. You know, people would see this mix that I post and they would be like, oh, it's a cool mix, but where's the Three Kings of New York? Or, you know, no matter what I posted, if it was not the Three Kings of New York, the question was, or Golden or whatever I was doing at that time, it was like, where are your main videos at? And I knew if I came back to that channel posting what I post now, it would not have gained any kind of traction. There was a bunch of dead subs there, and overall I just wasn't happy with that channel anymore. You know, the thing about YouTube is that it's called YouTube, and it's broadcast yourself. And I'm gonna give you guys a tip for any of you guys who might want to do something online. It doesn't have to be YouTube, but any of you guys who want some kind of online presence one day, the best advice I could give you as like a content creator, aspiring content creators, is make sure you're always making what you want to make. Because the point of being a content creator, I would think, is that, you know, you want to kind of go big one day so that maybe this can take care of you. And there's nothing, this is kind of, when you do it the wrong way, when you're just making content that you don't want to make, people don't know. The side that people don't know about videos is, if you actually do editing, this shit takes work. It takes a long time to do correctly. If you're not doing what you want, you're basically spending hours doing videos that you don't care about, and editing and putting a lot of work into videos you don't care about, which becomes a lot like a 9-to-5. Because isn't that where the 9-to-5 job is? Like, that's the stereotype around it, is that, you know, you're someplace you don't want to be all day, and videos can easily become that thing. And I think for me on Mr. NBA 2K Highlights channel, although Golden was going well, there were other things I wanted to do that just ultimately, you know, I knew that I really couldn't do on that channel. The other answer is life. You know, I'm never gonna be one of the YouTubers who share my life with YouTube. And, you know, I just had some things in college and just some things in life that I was not really happy with. That combined with the fact that I was not happy with that channel anymore, I couldn't make up my mind anymore about what I wanted to do. I didn't want to leave it, but then I didn't want to keep doing what I was doing, and I didn't know how to pivot on that channel. So it resulted in me finally just putting the pin down. You know, I would keep trying to write for the next episode of Golden. If you go back to that channel, the last video is a Golden, is a video. It's one of the videos for that series. And I would keep trying to write. I kept trying to go through the creative process, and I just couldn't get up anymore. I wasn't enjoying the gameplay. Doing those 12-minute quarters with the Warriors, I was not enjoying that anymore. I was kicking the shit out of teams with that roster, by the way. If you guys, if I have any original fans who were actually fans of Golden, I was kicking the shit out of every roster I put together on there. So that was another thing. Those games were really going to be a drag for you all to watch, and I just really couldn't get through the creative process anymore. So I dropped off that channel. I just dropped off. Like, after a while, I kept trying to write, and then I just decided I wasn't coming back. And I will be the first to say I handled that situation wrong, because I did it, like, I finessed it, fam. Like, I finessed the hell out of my exit on that channel. I had the NBA 2K Highlights Instagram, which I would still keep posting on. I still kept tweeting, but I said nothing about the videos. If you followed me from that time, you know I was posting like nothing ever happened. I slid through the back door of YouTube and just acted like nothing happened, and I was not telling anybody anything. And that was partly because, you know, there was still part of me that was maybe coming back one day, and maybe it wasn't. And yeah, that whole situation is just really screwy, honestly. I had a bunch of times where I wanted to come back, but I had to wait for the right time, really. I had to wait for the right time, and the right time just happened to be July 8th, where before I did that, I was thinking of doing the Three Kings of New York again. I was thinking of doing Golden again, and I was even working on the website, and I just could never make up my mind about what I wanted to do about it, because I didn't want to let it go, but I also did want to let it go. I wanted to do other things. And so I basically just not sat anywhere. I lived my normal life. I lived my normal life for 6 months, and I was like, you know what? One day I'm either going to come back to YouTube, or I'm never going to come back again. And never coming back again was I'm telling you right now, like, that came close to happening so many times, because every time I would pick the pen up again to start writing, it was just like, man, I don't know. Like, I remember the misery of sitting here when I left and not wanting to create anything. And I was like, I definitely don't want to be spending my day doing something that I don't want to do. And that was like I said, there was things in life too that I'm just not going to broadcast to the world. There's just things in life that go on. People forget that YouTubers are real people with real life, real emotions, real situations, and yeah, that's just how I handled it. I handled it wrong. What I really should have done is told everyone that I wasn't coming back for a while, or I was just taking a break. Instead, I just kind of disappeared because I couldn't make up my mind. But I mean, it worked out in the end, because like I said, my goal was, like, when I was thinking about my comeback to YouTube, I was like, either I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna successfully make stuff I love, or I'm not gonna come back at all. And there was some times where I was scrolling around there trying to create, and I just did not think it was gonna happen. And finally, I think I came back from some out-of-town trip for July 4th or whatever, and I was just in the creative mood again. I had been working on that 7 years old mix that now has 100,000. Thank you all. That has 100,000 views now. I was working on that for quite a while, and then I was like, you know, it's a perfect time to go ahead and drop that. Some things came together, and I had multiple ideas for videos that I want to do that are still written down in my journal. I still have a lot of heat coming, so, you know, don't think I'm running out of ideas anytime soon. And yeah, that's kind of like the rambling, not straight answer to your question, Wade, man. That is like I probably went all over the place with that, because there was a lot of things, like I said, I'm just not broadcasting to the world about why I left. But your short answer to that is that I wasn't enjoying that channel. I was not enjoying some of the things in life, things combined, and I just did not come back. Should have handled it better. I'm sorry to the people who are still here. Thank y'all for those of y'all who did come back from my old channel, and sorry I didn't handle it better, because like I said, I really should have just sent out a tweet or some shit and just been like, yeah, you know, I'm MIA for a little bit. And I won't disappear like that again. I won't, because like I said, I enjoy doing what I do now. My philosophy on this channel is, if I don't enjoy doing the video, I don't do it. Like, it's that simple. I don't tell you guys what video I'm going to come out with next, because I don't like to bind myself to any broken promises, or any potentially broken promises. So there have been videos I've been working on, and I'm just like, man, I don't care about this video, and I just scrapped the whole thing. So really enjoying this channel concept, as you guys can tell. It seems like you guys are enjoying it too. My next Q&A will be for 100,000. That's what I'm shooting for. So whenever I get to 100,000, I'm pretty sure I have more questions, probably more personal questions, which, I mean, I'll go personal to a degree. It's whatever. Y'all don't just have to ask me NBA stuff. I'm more than just I can talk about more than basketball. But yeah, this one, I didn't plan for it to go to 26 minutes. That's why there's time markers on the screen. If you look on the screen, there's time markers. You guys can click through the answers. I did that because I know people's attention span is not 30 minutes long, and I knew one way or another this was going to become 30 minutes. I can't thank y'all enough for the support. I hope that support continues. I'm going to keep being consistent. Right now, it doesn't say it anywhere, but like the spoken rule on my channel has been that I come out with a video every 3 to 4 days, because that's all I can do in college. While I'm in college and all the work that I'm juggling at the same time, in 3 to 4 days I can get you guys a video. It doesn't matter what's going on. The earth can be ending, but 4 days is enough for me in my life to get you guys a video. So I will stay consistent until the end of time with that, because consistency was such a problem on my old channel. Good lord, ask the old fans in the comment section. That shit used to take like 3 weeks for one video. It's crazy. So yeah, I'll keep being consistent. Hopefully you guys keep supporting. I'm Dom2K, and I will see you guys on the next video in 3 to 4 days. Thank you all.